All right, my friends, here we go. This is the graduates, my favorite part of the week. And yeah, today we're talking about graduates, but I thought I would begin by addressing a question we have on our Discord. We have a thing called Sensei Questions. You can write in, ask a question. And I thought it would be interesting to feature this because really today we're featuring like a bunch of people who've made progress. It's not always progress. There's going to be times when things are rough, especially, once you hit some kind of plateau. And then it's like that's where the real work starts. And what I mean by real work is like that's where it'll be a test of your character, whether you persevere or just give it up. A lot of times people don't give it up and instead just like play blitz, or do other superficial things. Yeah. So Wayne wrote in. Wayne's been with us a while, and Wayne says this. Been playing OTB weekly. I'm 1 out of the last 8 games, and the one win I got was lucky in a time scrabble. Currently on a 4-game losing streak. In chess, sometimes we say, if we lose 3 in a row, that's castling long. I don't even know if we got one for 4 games. My question is, how do I begin to diagnose what's going wrong? I'm analyzing the games and following the program, but it's getting discouraging, and I'm not sure how to approach turning it around. Should I be doing anything else or strictly follow the program? So what I thought I would do is just come in here and look at Wayne's situation, see if I could say something constructive. First of all, the first thing I'll say is once you get up to this rating where he could technically graduate into the next cohort, though maybe I have a feeling these games that he has lost will probably put him down a little bit. So once you get up here, it's very competitive. It's very competitive up at this level. So we should expect progress to be going slow. Also, I want to say, with kids, it's like there's a hormonal thing that happens. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but men, after they have a kid, will often have a slump. I was a victim of that, and several friends of mine have had the same situation. Obviously, it's also to do with just having time. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on with Wayne. And the first thing Wayne should do is put in more of their work, because I have a feeling they're not logging what they've done. Right? So actually right here, I can't help much because I have a feeling that Wayne's done a bunch of stuff, but so he's done some mates, right? Done some mates and some game analysis. And so the first thing to say, in terms of following the program, we're going to look at some of your games here, but more. Want more, right? You can look here at the training program. Right. So yeah, basically all of this stuff needs to get done. All right, let's look at some games. This was played fairly recently. And so probably this local tournament. Okay. So beautiful. This by the way is a real problem for the perk here. I developed this in aggressive repertoire for white, and it's already like black is already in a really rough spot. Okay. Now, black has tried so many different things in this position. Knight g4 it's not going to solve black's problems, but at least it can potentially change the structure or the path of white's attacking game. So let's talk about the normal path is at some point to play f3, castles, h4, h5, sac, sac, mate. That's the plan. And so knight g4 puts a spin on the position, right? Bishop g5, great. I'm happy you did it. Also, it would be good, Wayne, if you put in the times. That would help us understand, was this a hard decision for you, or was it something you played immediately? It's definitely in my course. So, by the way, I will yell at several people during the the show today, and I'll say you're not allowed to study openings yet. At 1800, where you are, you can study some openings. That aggressive repertoire, perfect. Okay, page 4, knight c6, and now you have some choices. Right. Black is being very frisky and definitely pushing it. I don't mind what you did, though. So you played f3. Castles, fine. And then now e5. And now, right, we have to make a judgment call. And you, I think, correctly criticized d5. Right. So let me just say your position's fine here, but now your opponent's asking you a really interesting question and you respond incorrectly. One thing I want to say about d5 is even if the guy couldn't play knight d4, which I can imagine is annoying, the issue would be on a move like knight e7 that you're playing like a king's Indian. He's playing a king's Indian where you don't have c4 in, right? And then the game has completely changed the nature of the position. So bishop b5 looks good, and you could also consider de. I mean, that also looks like a good move, right? de, and maybe you can play knight e2, but all of those moves, as long as you hold the center, seem fine. Now with knight e2, I want to say there's a caveat of did I blow something there with knight e2? By the way, this bishop b5 stuff, I'm sympathetic toward. However, we gotta ask ourselves what's going on there. It's not totally clear to me. It's a mess. It's a mess. For example, here, and then he gets out of this pin with this move. Something to look at. DE is kind of clever, I think. Right? You're just saying you've got good development. The pin on f6 is annoying. And you write, I don't like this at all. I don't want to trade queens. Well, first thing, isn't that annoying to him? That looks annoying to me. It's a pain. That's a pain right there. Yeah. Okay, so let's imagine knight d4, knight e2. Now, if I'm black, I would rather not trade that thing. There might be some way for him not to trade it. I'm not going to spend a moment on it, though. We're just going to take it. Okay. So your development improved. Bishop d7, I'm not thrilled with. Let's see what... I don't know why he wouldn't castle, for example. Bishop d7 seems wrong. Let's read what you write. Looking at this position now, the only move that speaks to me is f4. I don't want you to play f4. And it feels obvious. I'm not sure it's the best move, but I feel now like it must be considered. Look at the tempi in the position. Per Kraai, a whole pawn. Uh-huh. So, let's talk about f4. You are now playing this King's Indian position. Okay. You're doing fine. Bishop d7, I don't think made any sense. And there's a couple interesting dynamics happening. First of all, consider that when the position is closed, time matters less, right? So if we want to say you have 3 tempi, fine, but time matters less. Also, some of your pieces have some grief. Like, if it's a King's Indians situation, then maybe we want to put the c4 pawn here because pawns are pointing towards the queen side. That's one of the reasons f4 is misguided. The other reason, I think f4 has a tactical problem if he just takes. Excuse me, that's a drunken pawn. If he just takes and he got that to follow up. But also, in general, f4 is not really something I want to do because I don't want to open up this beast. So now, you are not the first person to have questions in a position like this, okay? And there are several different ways of playing this position. We have g4, bishop f2, and h4. Also, by the way, did he blunder knight e4 here? I think not, because the knight doesn't get out, right? So that's something useful to see tactically. Okay, so we have the plan of organizing h4. That is not only an attack on the king, it is also a prophylaxis against a King's Indian style break with f5, right? The next plan is kind of weird, but I want to put it out there. And that would be to play bishop b5. And the thought there is this is their good King's Indian bishop, and we are trading it off for our bad bishop on e2. Okay, so that's plan number 2. Plan number 3, I don't know if I like it, but would be to play knight b5 intending c4. And you can say to myself, what are you doing, Kraai? The point is that eventually, even though our king is on c1, our king, we want to play on the queen side. And so even if we play for bishop f2, g4, h4, what we're doing is we're preventing or we're making difficult the break f5. Okay. So notice with all those plans, Wayne, that a difficulty that I think comes with a lot of chess players that you might be having is that right now, in this position, you are being forced to play positional chess, right? And maybe you don't feel comfortable with it. You know, that's a thing. A lot of people who play the aggressive repertoire, in fact, I think they're just avoiding playing positional chess. So you played bishop f2. I don't hate that move. No, and I think that's fine. a6, weird, good move. And here you're going full Monty. Now, it's important to see that what black is doing over there, it's not that scary. Let's talk about this side of the board thing. It's your side of the board because your pawns are giving you more space over there. And that means with the more space, that it's very hard for black to get their business moving against your king, right? So actually, this move b5 is creating weaknesses. So my sense here is you play h4. Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay. And at some point, one of the reasons I kind of want to keep the rook on d1 because I never want to see c6. And so the rook on the d file will prevent any kind of c6, which if we imagine black making progress, it'd be something like that. I don't like this move. Good move. Okay, great. You're doing great. You're doing great. And now you criticized h5 as a terrible move. It might be okay. Yeah, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Now, what I don't like is this move bishop e3, or at least I don't understand it. Okay, and you're going for some crazy sack plan. By the way, I mean, your opponent hasn't done anything special here, right? One of the reasons I liked h5 is that you are setting yourself up for a later knight f5, and there's no rush for you to even land that thing in there. And again, though, we're talking really about positional stuff. For example, when you play knight f5, Black will be forced to give you his good bishop. And that means, too, look at that bishop on g7. What a chump this thing has become. The f5 break is over. So I think the old-timers, and myself included, would call this position, I'm an old-timer, would call this position strategically won for white. Okay? So let me try to explain. You put the knight here, and you say to yourself, I'm not going to get mated. You just have to trust it, because you're going to say, I got all of this force, and black, that thing's not working, that thing's not working, that thing's not working, right? Let's say they castle. By the way, after the game, you should have said, did you know you could castle? You could have told them that. Play a move like king b1. This is done on the king side. We'll come back, and then we'll probably play for c4, c5. You know, let's say they get frisky, fine. We'll still come over. Let's say they get frisky, fine. Winning. You're just going to pound this mercilessly. Look how much. So visualize it, how your force count on the queen side is devastating. Devastating. Look at this chump. Look at this chump. No one knows. No one knows. No, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. And at some point at our leisure, we'll play knight f5. And it means that this bishop has to just babysit that square too. Okay? So now bishop e3, it feels like you're going to go wacko taking the pawn. Once you take the pawn, then these two pieces will be doing something. Oh no! Then they'll actually be doing something. And then with this move, you neglect the knight. Oh, where's he going now? Nobody knows. I think they kind of helped you moving the knight out. Good. I'm not impressed with what black's play. Let's play king b1, please. Oh. Yeah. So this is no bueno. Now I get it. He's about to blunder the queen, and the game's over. But yeah, this is a slump. So let's just think about this bishop g5 for a second. This is your best bishop, right? This guy's a chump. Once you take here, it's not just about the tactic. Forget about the tactic for a second. This is totally wrong for a variety of reasons. The biggest one is now we're giving the bishop on g7 a job. If we just do nothing, you're strategically winning. And by strategically winning, I mean, like, you don't have to think here. You just go here, here, here. Yeah, just killing the fool. There's no attack against your king. If you could magically open this, then you might have a problem. That's why I'm like a little bit afraid of someday c6. I want to keep my eye on it, you know. So I think one of the things that I get out of your notes, okay, is that you feel obligated to kill, okay? And it's fine. It's fine to be an aggressive player, though. But sometimes you will find yourself in situations where you have to think just long-term and positionally. And one of those situations is when you play a move like d5, because now we're going to get a slow maneuvering game, right? And it's not f4. We're going to be playing prophylactic chess, shutting the pieces down. And I think a key insight is to say that g4, h4 stuff is not there primarily to mate the guy. We might mate him later, but it's there to shut the play down for black on their side of the board. What's their side of the board? The king side. King's Indian players love this because they'll play f5 and get to play for mate, right? Now, by the way, you say, I'm an e4 player. I never faced King's Indian. Well, you're playing a King's Indian structure now, right? That's one of the joys of learning different structures. You know, even if you don't play the French, someday you'll have a French structure. Someday you'll have a Carlsbad structure, right? And so in those situations, it's good to have like a vocabulary of what do I do here? What are the plans available for me? Okay, great. Wayne, I think you're going to make it, buddy. You're almost, I mean, you know, we all go through this. I've definitely been through it myself. Okay, definitely been through it. And some of the moves do strike me as like somebody Bishop G5 stuff, man. You were like, or even the F4 thing afterwards. It felt like, oh, this guy's he's angry. He's really angry. He feels like the only way to the golden path is by killing the Black King. Okay, good. So now we're going to start the graduate show. And here we go, view all. And check this out, my friends. I got a friend here. He says, I did with the creator of this app, LOL. This is Liam. Liam is 9 years old, has joined our program, has graduated, and really cool kid. He's playing on Lichess because he's got a friend who's into Lichess, so he hasn't got chess.com yet. And he's playing all the variants, he knows more about chess variants than I do. He's got it all down. And let me show you guys a couple of things here. One of the best things that he's done is he has done everything for the cohort for the Everyone's First Chess workbook. And I'm using him as one of my guinea pigs for this book. I feel like I want to see it through a beginner's eyes. How did this book work? It's one of the most successful books in the program in terms of like who's completed this? How many people have completed this thing? What do people say about it? And I've seen some of his answers. He's doing great, and so that's really cool. Also, really interesting for me to see how a young user relates to our interface. Right now, with this cool site, it's much easier than it was a year or two ago. Right, to just be on the site, it doesn't have to be on Discord. And to see, what it means. Like what do I mean by that? Like he's got to get the book, the Polgar book, right? He's got to maybe go to ChessCom to do the puzzle rush if he wants to do that, and he loves solving puzzles, So there's all these little ways in which I'm seeing what it's like for someone at that level who's just beginning, also very talented. I think actually, probably today, he's going to graduate to the next level, to 400, 500. Okay, so I know there's no games, but I know he's done like the King and Queen Checkmate, has done the Giannato's book, passed the required state for his cohort. And in general, the thing that he needs is very simple. He needs to slow down, and he needs to really recognize that the people he's playing against, I watched him play a couple games, are playing impulsive chess. They're just moving. They're not thinking at all. They're making stupid threats. They're missing people hanging their stuff. And he needs to see himself in those people and say, okay, if I want to be good at this game, the first thing I have to do is slow it all the way down and not react to their impulsive decisions, and really start thinking and realize that for the next couple hundred rating bands, it's going to be people hanging stuff, and I need to be good at taking that stuff and not giving my stuff away. So, really cool. Liam, I'm going to see you probably next week, buddy, and I'm following you here. All right, let's go back and look at who's next here. So this is, we're going to call him Smeagol the Goat, also in Liam's cohort. The best part of the program are being able to analyze my games on here, the list of tasks to check off, and the potential for discussion. Honestly, though, the Discord and forum are pretty dead. I've posted 10 times on here and on the Discord and got almost no replies. I think the dojo should go out of their way to make sure the higher ELOs are giving constructive feedback to the lower ELOs, and that the cohorts are reviewing each other's games. Like, make that task to check off. Review 10 games of equal and 10 games of lower ELO and give detailed constructive feedback on each of them. I think that's a pretty good, I don't have any problem with that. And Kostya was talking about making it like a pyramid scheme, So like, you review someone's games, and then if you review someone lower than yours games, then you get games reviewed by someone higher than you. Kostya, dude, he's a pyramid scheme builder. But that is definitely something that we're going to be looking to do more of in Dojo 3.0. And then in terms of getting no replies, it's kind of interesting. I think maybe a problem with even the lower cohorts is like Liam's not on there. Liam is in your cohort. He doesn't know anything about Discord, and he's not, the whole thing with sparring and stuff. He's sparring like he sparred the king and queen checkmate with his mom, So it's like, I think at the lower cohort it's hard. And one of the things that we're aspiring to is just as we get more and more people using the site, it will become more healthy in the sense that more and more people will be there to spar with Smeagol the goat. All right, let's take a look at Smeagol here. So, 32-year-old dentist, 6-year-old, 4-year-old. Nice, I have a 7 and a 5. And lift weights, me too. All right, buddy. All right. Son, barbecuing. Yeah, I just think one of the things about becoming a dad is just like, you're going to just do some barbecuing. You're going to be doing some barbecuing. All right. Oh, fun, dude. I'm trying to read some stuff, too. Okay. So, let's see. This is at chess.com. Now, one thing, Smeagol, is I'm going to yell at you a little bit. Yeah, you haven't graduated yet. Now, I think the reason you thought you graduated was because it says 315 here. But it's very important to see that it's actually this 172 number. Why do we have this normalized number? Because there are a variety of different rating systems. US, international, Lichess, Chesscom. Those are some of the big ones out there. There's more than that. And then we need a universal rating to bring that all together. Okay? So, it's okay, by the way, if you ever anyone wants to demote themselves. It's very easy to do. You just change your cohort. Fine. There's no shame in demotion. Right? Okay. So let's see if we got some activity. Good work. Very good work. Let's look. Everyone's first chess workbook. There it is. All right, we're going to look at some games. Let's look at Smeagol the goat. I don't know why, me and Jack are working on why it sometimes doesn't show up with the right view. Okay, fine. Fine. Good. And so now you're winning one of their pieces. I should have taken his knight. I was worried about him doing the same to me. Okay, good. Great note. Great note. Okay. Again, now we're going to take the knight. Thank you very much. F4. Okay, incorrect. So one of the first and easiest things to learn is bringing your people out. This doesn't help you bring out your people. In fact, it kind of just blocks your bishop. Who do we want to bring out? Here, And because we're up a piece, it might be nice to trade some stuff. So bishop d3, for example, comes to mind. Okay. Good. Bad. Bad. By the way, when you say it's a bad move, like you do here, say something. Say he blocked his bishop, didn't bring out his stuff. Good move. A little bit weird, yeah. And I like your note. You'd have taken with a knight. Very good. Check to the miserable king. Bishop e5. One thing I want to stress about you and people of this cohort breaking to the next level. Think about it this way. Your opponents are going to be giving you stuff, such as your opponent here did. To make your life simpler and to give you like a path for winning all of these games, okay, for the next couple hundred points, is once you win something, win a piece, then it's good to default to here to just being like, I'm just going to trade the queens. I don't even think it's technically the best move, but for you it is. Let me explain why. Imagine you are in a gang fight, okay? And it's 25 dudes versus 22. At that stage of the fight, the other people with 22, maybe they got a chance. Chaos can happen. But if we imagine this gang fight kind of getting traded down, I said 25-22 because you're up a piece, let's call that 3 points. As it gets traded down, we can well imagine that the ratio gets better and better for you. So by the end, you're at a ratio of 2-1. There we go, right? Then the guy has no chance. So, also, this is a tactical mistake because well, maybe he can't do it quite yet, but I'm worried about f6. Bad move. You make a good move. Correct. You say check, and now check to the miserable king. Very nice. Thank you. Fine. Now we're going to do some trading. Fine. Fine. Now, it is a great spot for the knight, but here you could have won the bishop outright. When you do your annotations, focus on the stuff they are hanging, because they are hanging stuff, and the main thing you need to do in your annotations is just find it. I like the way you're bringing peace down. Okay. Well, that's a mistake. Okay, good move. Check to the miserable king. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. That's mate. That's mate. This checkmate is brought to you by all the Polgar mate and ones that I've been doing. Okay, good. So, Smeagol, I would say, you know, you'll probably make this rating thing soon. But anyways, that's in front of you, and I hope what I said helps. So again, at these lower cohorts, you're going to win the material, trade it all off, and that's why you need to learn to mate with the king and the queen. It'll happen again and again once you see the path. Eventually, we'll play chess differently, but for right now, that's what we need to learn to do. All right, let's go back. So next up, we got Giuliano Enrique. He's done a lot of work. Looks like they, might dip down a little bit. And this is great. So, beautiful, lots of tactics. Let's give it a click. Polgar mates in 1, mates in 2 a little bit. Okay, good. And let's see if we got a game. We do. All right. Yeah, a little bit strange. Also a little bit strange. Okay, good move. You could have thought about taking that pawn on c7. This is definitely, I was going to highlight that. Oh, not highlighted. You could, that's a good move. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Now that one makes me a little nervous, but it's actually fine. Oh, you're killing this guy. Good. There we go. This move caused me so much pain. Okay, yeah. Now we start to hang things. Okay, so we should say what we should have done, probably bishop h7, right? Now, we're up so much material that it doesn't matter if we lose a little bit, right? He says check to the miserable king. We go away. King e7. All right, g3 a little. If you're going to give yourself, what I want you to see is this is the guy who needs to get out. So if we're going to move a pawn, let's move this bad boy over here. Yeah, that bishop's been terrorizing you. You're still doing great. You're still doing fine. We're going to mate him now. Very good. Okay. I think I might have even looked at this game months and months ago. But I think a lot of what we said for Liam and our dentist applies to you here too, right? It's about learning not to give away stuff. And, you know, this kind of thing, especially queen f6, bringing your queen out, the queen out early, one of the standard mistakes that you're just going to see for the next couple cohorts. You're just going to keep seeing people do it. They're going to do it again and again. Yeah. Okay, good. Giuliano, well done. And now we're going to Max Biermann. Look, Max Biermann is like flying up there. 3rd graduation. And let's read what he says. I finally sat down and did all of the middle and end game conversions, and they really helped with ideas for similar positions I find in my games. I did a lot of tactics, redid everyone's first chess workbook, and learned chess the right way, but not as much reviewing of tactics daily, although I did more than last rating band. As for my gratuitous amount of non-dojo time, I am back into base building for triathlon and have a lot of easy volume on my bike trainer. I've been watching the Chess Bra Building Habits series, and it has helped me a lot of the ideas congeal for me. Okay. I can imagine sitting there on the bike, looking at the chess bras, you know. So, here we go. Oh, thank you, Jelly Beans. Yeah, thank you. So here we go, 796, and fisheries science at Oregon State. Yeah, I remember that. So let's take chess and interstitials. Beautiful. Lots of tactics. And now he's not talking about there isn't that much non-dojo time in here. Oh, I know what we need to do. We need to back it up one, though. There's a non-dojo time. Oh, buddy. The shame. The shame. All right. So, it's all looking good. This is all good. And let's look at a game from Max over here. So this was played fairly recently. Highest rated win. Okay. So, weird. All right. So let's talk about e5. Not a good move because it's not bringing their people out. Good move. Fine. We could also play a move like d6. Good. Poor. Because they're not developing their people. Beautiful. Now you're doing great. Oh, and just thank you very much. Bishop g5. That doesn't do anything. Queen e8. Queen e8 makes me a little nervous because we're putting our queen on the file where it will be attacked. I understand that queen d7 looks a little funny, though. So queen e8's okay. Now, should you have taken with a pawn? I would have taken with a pawn just to not give up this bad boy over here. Now, unfortunately for us, this doesn't win immediately because the guy can play knight f3. Here you play h6. I think what you could do, though, is play bishop h2, queen e5, and then it'll be, you know, one of these pieces to pick up. And it's not just that you've won a pawn. You have exposed the white king. So bishop h4. And now they need to play knight f3. Okay, good. Good. Bishop's very strong there. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now we got ourselves a great ending. Rook f b8. Now, in principle, I like this move, but I'm a little worried about this. But do you have the answer? Let's find out. Good move. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with this, but a little nervous. I could have moved my king out sooner here. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're up 2 pawns. And this should be... And not only that, but like the bishop, it's not super easy for that bishop to come back and stop this boy from moving. Maybe bishop g3 here is a forced move. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, I'm not even going to say it. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. If this was a 1900 level game, I'd say something, but I'm not saying anything here. Good. Okay, I like that move. Good. Now you got a second weakness that he gave you over here. This is really a third weakness because you're up 2 pawns. Good. Let's take it. Oh, let's take that one too. If he's going to give it, let's give it. Okay. That was a good game, Max. That was a great game. Couple things to say is you are going to get a lot of players, just like Liam and our dentists are going to get. They're going to play weird moves, right? They're not going to bring their people out. You bring your people out, and already you have a monstrous position because they've given you so much time, right? At a GM level, this is winning, right? And we just want to keep our stuff. And really, they're also not going to think about time themselves. Like from my perspective, rookie one is a must, put a little business on you, and then he gets the pawn back and is okay. And then this kind of thing where they're hanging, it's either this one or this one. I like the H2 pawn just because it is so tasty. But either way, you are again going to be on top in this game. Okay. For those of you wondering why I didn't say anything about the opposite color bishops, that comes after 1,000. That's after 1,000. All right, Max, great. I'll probably see you back here soon. I'm going to have to relog in, I think. Here. All right, so that was Max, and now we have Trav, who, I've seen Trav before. 821. Wait, Trav. No, Trav, you haven't graduated yet, Bobs. No, you got to graduate. So sometimes people are doing a little too early. JT he's just crushing. Every week we come here, and he's just flying up. Game analysis and annotation is still the biggest help, and getting plus reviews aids that process. When I look back at some of my early attempts at annotation, it's amazing that I was learning anything, but the program and help from others in the program makes it happen. Well, I'm happy to hear. All right. And he's 50 bows. Jesse has whined about wanting to know exactly how old this Dao is. I'm 50 bows. There's a lot of confusion on the internet about how to spell the word bows. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look here. Look at this rating graph, by the way. 398 points. Flying. At some point, I just want to say it will become difficult. It will become difficult. It is not difficult for you yet. You are in just a clear rise. So, we're going to back it up one. Great macronutrient chart. We're getting some mates in 2 now. Great. Learn chess the right way. Fine. Yeah. And let's see what we're doing with books. Nice. Okay, this is looking great. And then we're going to get some games going on. And also some review with plus and minus. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. And I want to say we had an earlier comment about wanting to facilitate that more. And I think we have something we're really... So if you guys have an idea about how to do it, Kostya's pyramid scheme or whatever it is, send us a note. It's been one of the things actually of, the dojo was founded on 3 principles. The game annotation was one, and longer games with that. Plus minus equal, and a structure, that you have to have a structure to follow, to be responsible to. And the plus minus equal, it works, but it needs more, And I think especially as we grow, it will be important to really get that moving. Okay, so somebody's shouting me at the Discord. Let me just make sure nothing terrible has happened. Kostya, do I need to do that right now? Do I need to do this now? Okay. I don't get it. There's some kind of thing. We're experimenting, but the boomer GM doesn't always understand the tech, you know? So, all right, let's look. Games. Lots. Ooh, dude, 14. This is somebody who's doing the work, my friends. Okay. We'll bring this in. 45, 45. Okay. Weird. Fine. Fine. Nice. So we're at the, we've gone up a couple cohorts, my friends. And JT here is playing some star moves. What's the point, my friends? If takes, then queen b2, and then, the fandango falls apart. Good move. Fine. A little slow. Poor. Yeah. So if your knight were able to take the bishop, then this move would be understandable. Now, one thing to say about this position is even though it seems like white should feel bad about their life because they did this loss of 1,000 tempi, it's not entirely clear how black should play the position. And so I think that's probably how you lost the thread here and played knight h5. Actually, let's look. We got the time charts here. Oh, one thing we can say that we can see there is improvement in your future involves moving slower. Because look at that. You played that move and you gain time. You gain time because of the increment. And this was precisely the moment where you needed to reflect on what to do. So for example, one plan would be to say, well, maybe I'll play h6 just so that knight h4 doesn't hurt me. Possible. Another simple plan is to just move the queen somewhere and start running these boys. And then maybe come back. And we're open a front over there on the queen side. Because that's our side of the board. And really, we're doing great. One reason I kind of want to play h6 is this bishop is really looking into that position. And my understanding actually of this position is at some point white should play bishop d1, c2. Just to, deal with that. Okay, so knight h5, bad. Now we've lost time. And now he comes to take your bishop. And you play knight e4. Okay, in general, I don't like knight e4 because this is their worst piece and you're going to help exchange it off, right? And so I guess I want you to move the queen and start playing for b5. Good move. I don't know about that one. I don't like it. Okay. All right. Uh-oh. What's going on here? So, let's just say knight h4 is a superficial move. It doesn't do anything. At the bare minimum, you could play g6. Probably knight d2 is more to the point. b3 could be a move for them to consider too. So one thing I want to stress is as we move up the cohorts, the issue will be less people giving away material for free and more time for free. Both of these players have given away a lot of it already. I think it's at least creative. I don't know if I believe it yet, but it's at least creative. And then you go, boom. And then they play h4. Okay. I think I'm just, making sure that what you did is correct. I guess it is. And I guess knight f5 was conceivably a mistake. So, by the way, that was a good move. let's think how long you're thinking here. So queen e7, 2 minutes. That's a good move. Took me a second to realize it was a good move. Wait a second. Wait a second. Now I have some confusion. So, right, no, you're threatening f3, so that's fine. Queen h4, great, you're winning this game. Now we should, I'm going to hope that you took like 5 minutes here. No. Okay. Because this is the moment where we're going to need to calculate. So rook e4. Good move. And then they resign. Let's give a variation. I think it would go bishop g2, king h6, right? And, yeah, I guess totally lost. That was, I thought, very clinical and nice with queen e, the kind of like, let's call it the trap of queen e7, to see that knight f5 to give him the pawn. I thought that was pretty high level, okay? So if you can combine that kind of high level thinking with just not giving away time, you're going to be crushing these people. And I can tell that you've done a little bit of work as well with, let's say, opening. So that bishop f5 trick, for example, right? That's a standard trick in the London. So let's look at the times. And let's just say something obvious. This chump you're playing, look at that. They're not thinking at all, dude. Not at all. So, my friends, let me just put it to you this way. One of the problems of the lower cohorts that we've been trying to address for a long time is that people are moving too fast. And it's not something, it sounds like something where you could just be like, well, Baus, I've heard you say it, and so now I don't move fast anymore. But in practice, what actually it is it's a thing where there's like a bodily need to move. And when you're not, let's say, trained, okay? And by trained, I mean like you've lost some games because because you moved too fast, and you have understood that it's like your first intuition is often wrong. And you, one of the ways to understand is by going over your games, by looking at Jack's beautiful time graph here. Be like, oh, it's like I'm leaving so much on the table here when I'm moving so fast, right? So much on the table. And so forcing yourself to simply move longer is critical. And let me say, we did a fascist thing and we said, look, if you don't use half your time in the game, you can't count it. And so technically this doesn't count, right? Now, still, I think it's great that you annotated the game and everything, but yeah, use your time. There's no rush. There's no rush. There's no rush. Okay, beautiful. Let's go back. Max or JT, we're going to see you again here. And he's 50 bows. He's 50. I can kick. I can jump. I'm 50. All right, here we got Caleb. Caleb, it looks like they just joined the program. I'm just gonna guess they just joined. I'll bet they do have a game. So, Caleb, you're in the wrong cohort, bud. You're in the wrong cohort, so you got to go back down. I think again, you thought you were in this cohort because of the 1040, but this is the rating that you have for the dojo. Okay. So. Keep going. Caps chess. Oh, dude, caps chess just keeps moving. My progress was pretty sudden. Lately, from 14 to 1650 and even in OTB. Players much stronger than me pointed out that I should actually be higher rated than I am. Not by a lot, but it's still a reason for me to graduate. The graduation is also a direct consequence of having defeated a 1620 elite chess opponent in the round 1 of the Dojo Under 1800 Classical this week. Okay. Good. All right. And the Caps Chess is streaming sometimes too. That's great. And look at that. Ready to graduate again if they want. 1174. Okay. So let's take a look at what's going on with Cap's chess. This is the work they did to make it. Yeah. Some tactics. All right, good. And then we got some games and analysis. Great. And some endgame win conversion. Beautiful. Okay, let's see a game. Ooh, Cap's chess is doing some work, my friends. Yeah. All right. So this looks like an OTB. Bucharest. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So. All right. I think it's possible to play D3. D4 is the most combative move, but this makes some sense still. H6. You know I don't like it. You know I want to see D6. Okay. Or maybe D5, but loss of time. Okay. This is actually, let's call this a setup. I know it looks weird, but this is a setup that Steinitz really invented 100 and some years ago. I just ordered, by the way, this new book, Ink War, about the rivalry between Zukertort and Steinitz in the 1880s. Fine. Loss of time. Good move. Curious to get Kraai's thoughts. Feels like it's about time I strike in the center since I have most of my development done, but maybe something out there could work better in my favor. No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Especially when they give you time, like your opponent has, we want to open the position. Time is more valuable when the position is opened. Okay. Good move. Very nice. G4, freaky. Freaky. The problem here for white is that they might be able to get away with this, but the door is creaking. Okay, the door is creaking. And we need to open the position. Now, G4 looks silly. There could be an argument, though, that what dude can do is play knight F1, knight G3, and then maybe harass you. Something like that. So, and the challenge for us here is how do we get at him with this stable pawn situation going on here, right? So, there are several ideas here, and you play D4, which I'm not a huge fan of. So, a default move could be to put the rook on D8, by the way. That's just a good default move. Frisky, and maybe more to the point, would be a move like B5. The intentions of this weird move are really twofold. One, we might play B4 to open the game up, but also on knight F1, we're going to make him feel the pain with that, right? Okay. So that's one idea. I know A5 might look weird, but that's also an idea. And there we are preventing B4 and also trying to engage the rook. But again, you don't need to be all that fancy. You could just put one of the rooks here on D8. I definitely don't think you should take on E4. Okay, weird. And now you did this. And unless we are gaining something by this, we don't really want to do it because we're trading really our D pawn for the B pawn. And I think that what happens here is that you kind of were like, now I need to bust him open because he's played all these bad moves, but really he has kind of a compact shell. I think black is better, but D4 doesn't really change anything unless the guy takes, right? That's the only thing, but we're not playing hope chess, right? We want to play real chess. So D4, snip, snap, and then, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Wayne Beam's bishop takes g5 that we looked at the beginning of the show. Not only is it a similar sack, but it was also like born out of a desperation of like, I don't know what to do, and I feel like I have to wail on this guy, and so I'm just gonna go. I don't know what else to do. I'm going for it. You know, I'm all in. And then you write rook a d8, correct? Something like that. Makes me nervous that the queen is pinning itself. That looks weird. Why not knight h4, right? That looks strong. Okay. Queen f1, f5. Oh, my lord. Oh, my. Knight h2. All right, so people are blundering a little bit. Rook f6. Yeah, the game has become hot, and h5 definitely would be the thing I would want to think about, because we're really getting this bad boy open now. All right, so rook f6. Yeah, I got a lot of questions. So, for example, ef5, queen f5, knight g4, we're just crispy, right? He's just taking all of our business. Bishop a3. Good. And we got ourselves some heat here. Good move. And now we're toast. Dang. Well, he put you away quite nicely. Okay. I really want to stress that your opponents will continue to give you time. In this game, your opponent was higher rated. One of the things that he's doing is he's actually playing a setup. It's a little bit weird the way he played it, but it was a setup. And the kind of hilarious thing about it is this setup here is this horrible thing that was invented by Ginger GM, and it was really a Philidor, but he rebranded it as the Black Lion. And so white is playing the Black Lion setup here. And you're doing fine, but it's really the main problem is that you lost your mind here because you felt that the guy had broken a bunch of rules. And he has broken some rules, but we're not ready to just wail on him. And so I would advise like comparing this one with the Wayne Beam thing that we looked at the beginning of the show too. Okay, so let's go back. Now we got isolated rook, and isolated says, Dojo has made my learning experience more organized and took away the confusion of looking for what to learn next. I'm graduating so I can challenge myself by being at the bottom of the cohort and work with higher rated players. Okay, let's take a look. So right, just made it over the top. Beautiful graph, yeah. And let's follow isolated rook. Oh, that's very, it's always nice to see a nice solid graph like that. Okay, so we'll go back one. And lots of endgame. The Silman, beautiful. Okay, we got some tactics. Looks good. We're up to 483 on Ye Old Polgar. What are they doing, non-dojo? This is cool. The 1,1400 community session over here. 5 hours of that. That's nice. Yeah, that's something we have at our Discord. People can get together, and we have community leaders. Amazing resource. Okay, let's take a look at isolated games here. So I just want to make sure. Let's see, date played. Okay, so this is, we got Caps Chess and Isolated Rook. Maybe we should look at that one. Though this one is a little bit confusing to me. This has got to be the one because it's just more recent. Not that many recent games from Isolated Rook. Okay, Dojo Classical. We got some times. Well, they used half their time. And I guess I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go out of my way that Dr. Modi is also isolated rook. Let's hope. Let's hope. Oh, the dreaded fantasy variation. You're doing fine. A little weird, knight g2. Why block the bishop? Very frisky. It looks like we're losing a pawn here. Little weird. Let's play knight f6 or something. What are we doing? Oh my gosh. All right, let's take. There we go. Let's play knight. Ooh, no. You want to play knight f6, son? Knight f6. Let's go. That's nice. Okay. Wow. Intense. Good move. Okay. Let's trade some stuff off. In general, maybe king f7 was technically better, but I've been preaching that people at this level especially should trade when they're ahead. So let's stay with my preachiness. Castle's good. He's losing 1,000 tempi. Can't be bad, though. We should note that he's not actually threatening to take the pawn because of this thing happening to him if he does. So, right. One thing too, just to say what you don't like about it. So for me, I would put it in words and say, what I don't like about this DE4 is we are going to let one of those knights in to the nice square, and there's no need to. Your bishop b4 makes a lot of sense. Like I said, though, he's not even threatening to take the pawn. That's all fine. He's trading, we'll trade. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah. Let's play queen e3. No. Now I've got some chances at a winning inning. You got more than a couple chances. You're up a piece. Oh, let's take it. Thank you very much. Sniper bishop seals the deal. Okay, good. All right. Good. Notice, let's just say a little, let's yell at your opponent for a second. They're learning some fancy, unprincipled stuff. What I mean by that is, like, maybe this is playable, this f3 thing, but let's just say it's unprincipled. And when you play unprincipled chess, your game becomes harder to play. And they didn't understand what was going on. They're hanging stuff. It's time to put away the fantasy. Okay? All the other, then when I see fantasy, I don't just mean this variation. I mean, put away all the weird opening, schmopening stuff. This is directed at your opponent, isolated rook. Okay, great. So, boom. That's isolated rook's journey. He's graduated again. And next up, we have Ultra Slarkin. I was already on the cusp of 11-12 when I joined the program, then won several games in a row. Okay, cool. So there it is. Looking pretty good. Pacific time zones. So let's follow. I like the icon here. USCF of 1063. Okay, we're moving up. And they haven't done that much, you know. They're just joined the dojo, winning some games. And let's take a look. Ultra Slarkin. I don't know, it sounds like Dutch or something. So here we go. Fine. Weird. So what's the problem? Your queen is out. So, by the way, probably knight f6, a little bit more conservative here. And then right. The problem with this check is you were going to be giving white time. d4, there comes our time. And there, nota bene, that's another developing move. So when you take this thing and they capture back, that's another tempo that they've won. That's another one. All right, so now we're officially down 3 million tempi. Yeah. So, right, you are very far behind. Queen b3, fine, good. Knight b5, he's going to come for you now. It's true. Knight A6. But I don't think he hasn't cracked the code yet, though. Okay? Because you're about to catch up. Let's castle, please. You're fine what you did, too. Hey, you're alive. You're alive. He didn't crack you. He didn't crack you. Now you're just fine. One thing I'll say about this is a problem, I think, for players at this level, and we're going to address it as the opponent's issue here first. GM Nixons, thank you for raiding. We do a circle raid here. He raids us and we raid him. Is that a lot of times players don't appreciate time because no one's wasted them yet. And, in this position, White needed to really, think a little bit about how to deliver the blow. And in this position, for example, plays Rook FD1, I think Knight C7 is a real hassle. If Rook C8, does Queen B7 work? Let's check. Looks like it, right? Looks like we're going to win this pawn. And there was some other way for black to play as well, white to play, and they didn't use this time. Then all of a sudden you've caught up, and now you're doing great. You're doing great. Uh-oh, that one scares me, though. Maybe it's okay. Well, let's give it a check. Give it a second, Kraai. Oh, this is going to get hot. Rook C7. So I think what's fair to say about Knight B4 is you probably didn't see that he could play Rook C7. It's a very spicy position. Rook Fe8. Now, the issue here is our knight being pinned. That's our problem. Now maybe you got a fancy way out. Like maybe you can slip and slide. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Boom. Doesn't make much sense. Good. Doesn't make much sense. And now we're going to have a Queen G3 problem. Okay, it's going to get hot. Queen F4. Okay, it's getting a little hot. I think we're toast. Is it true? Wait. Yeah, I think we're toast. Yeah, unfortunately, we're toast. Okay. So, the lack of development ended up catching up, but in this position, I don't think you're lost. It's a little complicated, but I don't think you're lost. You might be in a little trouble. So, all right, this would be a great position to analyze, by the way. Excuse me. One question I have, for example, is when they play A3, do I have an out with the move Queen F5? By out, I just mean, can I get out of dodge that way? Also, I have to worry about some kind of maybe bishop D2 or a bishop D6 messing with my knight. That could be another way to hit the knight. One highly annoying thing that we might try is the move Queen E2 right here. Maybe he can't take our knight because of this business, right? So these would be some of the things to analyze afterwards. He's definitely didn't knock you out, though, because of the time, and he could have. I think there was, even before that, I think there was something he could have done with all that extra time. Nota bene, you didn't spend any time on this move, okay? So that's a real problem. And it's a tense moment. I'm going to say, like, if I was playing here, I'm going to need some time to figure it out. I got a pinned piece. I got a dangerous rook. You know, this rook, though, is also might be a victim at some point, too. I might be able to mess with it. Yeah, I might be able to mess with that rook. Okay, so, Ultra, we're going to see you soon, bud. We're going to see you soon. All right, next up, and then I'm going to take a break. Oh, Chess Dad is at it again. I went down there and saw Chess Dad. So, Jacob, what's going on here, Jacob? Jacob, look at all these graduations, dude. What's going on? Are you doing things? What's happening here? We do get one game from Jacob, but it's weird. It's like in the 0 to 300 cohort. He's graduated all. He's just going all the way. No one knows. No one knows what's going on. Okay, a little bit hard to say what's going on with Jacob, but let's take a look here. Okay, fancy. From prep, this is the position I was expecting. Holy moly. Long-term plan is to leave the e4 pawn alone and let white have a bad bishop on g2. Okay. Okay. Weird. Definitely think BA is you're killing him after BA. Why wouldn't we play BA? Right? We're just opening up our rook. And now we're opening up his rook. Weird, no one knows. Okay, let me just say a couple things. In this position, the thing that you should be looking at, and white looking at, is f5. Because then you could really start something over there on the king's side. These Najdorf structures often evolve, as this one has, into a King's Indian style structure, right? So one of the things really white generally looks at in positions like this, if they're going to do this fancy h3 stuff, is to play poop, 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 and let's say knight d7, this weird move, g4, so that with knight g3 they can kind of work against these light squares. Okay, I just wanted to mention that's maybe a little highfalutin. But here's a loss of time. He ends up doing it. Dude, we got some 1600s playing some deep sauce here. Deep sauce. And you had the chance, by the way, to play f5 and not even allow this to happen. Right? There comes your f5. Now, the issue with this move is when they take it, you're going to lose the light squares because you're going to get this guy traded off. But they say, no, thank you. And basically, white is playing an opening that's a little bit over their heads here. f4. Knight f5. Fancy. I don't know. We could talk about knight e4. Queen f7. Genius. Now I think you're fully on top. I don't understand that move. Give me the pawn. Queen e7. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I totally agree with you. Rook f7 is easier. Okay. Okay. All right, you're going for the gold. I think this is okay. Good move. King f1. Boom! Look at this. Oh, this is some great chess here, honestly. And now we just need a way to penetrate to the back. That's not going to help. That makes me nervous. So if you don't like the move, you should say what you should have done instead. h6 followed by rook f5, for example, looks good. Now that's possible because he took on h7. Mistake. Okay. And now you took. So let's look at your variation here. Rook he7, rook c7 is also a thought. I think, you just play rook f6 though. Maybe e3 works, but there's no need. Right? Just play rook f6 and say, oh no rook f6, Jesse. Jeez. Wait a second. Excuse me. E3. Oh, this is fancy. E3 is a hell of a move. Look at what he's saying, guys. On pawn takes, we got rook G2. Checkmate. And on king takes, at the bare minimum, we got rook E1. So E3 is a hell of a move. Maybe that's a computer variation. I don't know. Okay, my friends, I got to take a break, and I'll be back in a short second. Here we go. Welcome to the Back to the Dojo. So that was that game. That was pretty impressive. There were elements of that game that were high level. Okay, it just gets better from here. We're just getting slightly stronger and stronger players. All right, taking time in the games. Good. David's flying up there. Okay, let's give David a follow. Look at some activity. We'll go back one. Okay, easy work. Flying up there. Let's see if we got a game. We do. We got a couple. So, this was played fairly recently. Click this in. Uh-oh, resize me. There we go. Now, these notes are sparse. These notes are sparse. So, the first thing we can say is doing a little bit more notes here would be a helpful thing. Oh, the boards are really resizing now. Yeah, you should take on E4. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. You're doing great. No, everything's great. Every move you're developing. Look at, yeah, you're doing fine. That's poor. Let's talk about why that's poor. Because this knight is your worst piece. Doesn't have any squares, and so they just fixed it for free. Good move. Fine, doing great. And now you get frisky with G5. This is a time we really would want a little bit more annotations. To me, for example, Queen F4 followed by Queen H4 looks like might be hard to meet. Might be hard to meet. Once you get there and they play H3, we go G5, G4. Then maybe it's all in the cards for you. It's all in the cards. But now he can block you with Rook E5. It doesn't. Rook H4. Okay, that's ambitious. I would rather have the lady over there. And he correctly snuffs out your attack. Okay, good. Notice, by the way, that in this position, it's like the problem is, for him, is that his knight was poor. But think about it now. His knight, if you're going to go doubling, now has a beautiful job. And if that knight, which is previously not doing much, if it can just contain both of your rooks, then we got to say he's doing great. And he finds it. Nice. Okay. So now we have ourselves an interesting endgame. And one of my problems with the annotations across the dojo is people go light on their endgame annotations. This is a fascinating one to look at, for example. I see a lot going on. I see, for example, that we need to reorganize our rooks, that our king is better than their king, and that we are going to need to start opening up the position before white can reorganize. And a lot of times what I see is people shuffling. So what do I mean? Like that to me is a little bit of a shuffling move. That's a shuffling move. Now that's not a great move because now D4 is unprotected, right? Good move. Well, wait. Oh, that's a dirty trick. I almost fell for it too. I almost fell for it too. So knight G3. Oh man, a dirty trick. Okay. I don't understand. A6. You've got to fix your rook. You've got to fix the rook. So the simple way to fix the rook is bring him back, double, and power down on that pawn. Looks to me like we lost a pawn, yeah. Now this is spicy. This is very spicy. So the incredible thing that's happened here is white has immolated their rook. Tries to break free. And now you got real frisky and played this one. And now Yeah, you're in real trouble after CB, as you note. Maybe you're going to live through this. Okay, so let's look at your time usage. Yeah, you did that one immediately, bud. Yeah, immediately. So one of the things I want to stress is when people don't annotate their endgames. I realize this whole game is a little bit lightly annotated, but it shows that they don't see how involved this bad boy is. Because otherwise they would be thinking, oh my God, this is complicated, right? Like right here. This whole thing that you started with C5. Like, oh, that's some complicated stuff that you're trying to do. Yeah. Also, I want you to be sensitive that your rook is poor. You got to fix him. And right, he missed his chance, but he's still, I guess, on top. What is he doing? He's just blundering all his pawns. Now, let me say, look, especially here you're playing instantly. You would certainly have an advantage. Might not end in much, but you know, give him a check here and pin the knight. Can he fix his business and get out? Maybe, probably, but still, let's give him a little drama. Now that happens to him. Oh, now he's just, wait, what's happening here? Is that the dirtiest trick I've ever seen? Wait, we got to talk about this, my friends. That was one of the dirtiest tricks I've ever seen. Look at this dirty trick. I mean, maybe he didn't even intend it, but here we go. This is the trick. Bang, 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 bang. Did he see it? I'm going to doubt it. I'm going to doubt it, but that's the trick. Oh, man. Rook F2, he did see it. Uh-huh. No, but I think you're toast because rook takes, well, you definitely should play rook takes G2. That's true. And you should analyze it a little bit. Like, are we lost? It's going to be close. Like, I can't tell just by looking at this whether or not we're going to be able to save it. I guess. Maybe the more I look at it, I'm like, I guess we could save this thing. It's good. It needs some variations, though. Okay. So, look. The path is, look at this. Yeah. We need to move a little slower, bud. A little slower. Okay. So, hopefully that was helpful. This take on E4, by the way, I'm kind of happy you said that because it shows that you haven't actually studied this thing, which is fine. You're just playing good moves. All of these are fine moves, right? And you outplayed him to this point. He didn't know what he was doing. And you could have done this part better. I want you to be sensitive to the rook on H4 because you left him there forever. I didn't understand A6. There's a lot of moves I didn't understand, right? This knight E5, though, what an interesting position. And then we take here. And it's interesting. I don't know what's happening here. This is interesting. You know, both of you have got to figure out what's going on in the lives of your rooks. Okay, let's go back. That was David. All right, next up, we got Chahat. Haven't been using the program much, but moving forward, I'm looking for sparring partners and planning to play classical time controls with analysis. Okay, beautiful. Let's click on Chahat. 1207, give him a follow. Activity. Probably no games. Yeah. So Chahat's just kind of hasn't been doing too much. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the dojo. We'll click it back. They've done some stuff. Yeah, so hopefully we'll see some games from Chahat soon. All right. Next up, I think, is a famous person. That's true. Yeah, we got David Ham. So David Ham is famous, and he's got a cool blog on Lee Chess, and has done a lot of podcasts and stuff. and is one of these people that's really going for it. As you can see with the graduation belts, they're killing it, right? Totally killing it. Okay, so my Lichess rating hasn't synced up with the dojo system yet, but I just had a win that put me over the 1675 threshold. Still have a lot of material from this cohort that I'm going to work through, but have been working hard to improve, and graduating is always a good way to celebrate progress, indeed. The dojo continues to be a transformational part of my chess journey, and writing about it each week in David's Dojo Journey, check it out, we'll go check it out, has been a great way to reflect on the journey, think about what is working and what needs to change, and hopefully encourage others. My chess from when I started the dojo 2.5 months ago and now is night and day. People are amazing. Targeted training materials for various levels is brilliant, and the gamified interface makes it fun to make progress. Still have a way to go with using all my time and getting deeper in my analysis and calculation. To be honest, I still feel very much like a beginner, but this program helps me see a path forward. I'm also very fortunate to have a coach who is supportive of the dojo. Working through material and my games has been a very nice compliment to the program. He is an IM from Ukraine who is $30 an hour. Okay, he's taking students. That's great. Yeah. I could just send money to Ukraine. Just send him money. Send that man money. Okay, so totally cool. And so 1,200, 1,300, that means he's allowed to study a little bit of openings now. All right, now one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to click on him so we can just show briefly his, look at this. So he's got 9 installments of this really cool blog going on here. And so I'm just going to give that blog a shout out. I've been reading it. It's nice. All right, so let's see how David did it to get here. So it's been tactics, a touch of ending, and a lot of games and analysis, which makes a lot of sense. No books yet for David. No books. 81 hours. Dude is working. Dang. Okay, so let's take a look at a game here. So this is played just a couple days ago. And let's click this in. All right, so here we go. Okay. Right. Now, in general, we don't want to take this pawn because that pawn will control the center, and in particular, we kind of want to bring the knight here, and then it's controlling that square, and that square for that matter. Okay. Bizarre. So let's think about this for a second. F5 is a terrible move because they're doing great, first of all, and they need to understand that they gotta bring their people out before they do anything crazy. You gotta bring your people out. Okay, so let's take a look here. F5, yeah, very unprincipled. You play bishop g5. And I can tell, yeah, he thought for a couple minutes on this one. This is a 30 plus 30 game. You've got a lot of nice options here. Knight c3, ef. I'm not 100% on that one, but let's leave it. It's a developing move. Queen c7, I don't like that move. He needs to bring his people out. Okay, I like knight c3 better, but this is all right. Or rook e1. Ooh, very risky. So, boom, boom, boom. Good move. And it's not so much the stealing of the pawn that I like. It's the fact that we're opening the position, and now the black king should never be safe. Does this move make sense? No, it does not. What does he need to do? He needs to bring his people out. Good move. Okay. And now he goes for it. I don't like that you're not bring your people out. I want you to bring your people out. You know, the knight on b1's got to go somewhere. Yeah. Now we're just fooling around. Okay, so David, listen up. In this, from here, you should say I'm winning. And the priority numero uno has to be bringing our people out. So the first move that should come to mind is just knight c3. Knight c3 creates a threat of knight e4, right? And what happens is you end up losing a bunch of time in the next couple moves. You've already got a free pawn, and really it's time now to mate this dude because they've broken the rules. Now, it might take a little time, but the first thing that's going to happen is we need to bring the people out, right? So knight c3 should be our default option. I don't like it. I don't like it. I really don't like it. We're just hanging left and right here. Hanging time. Okay. So, tense moment. Your opponent, by the way, look at this. Not thinking at all. When you play online, let's actually look at their time graph. Look at that, dude. They did not think at all. Right? So I want you guys to just feel what I'm saying. These opponents haven't learned to think yet. Chess is actually about thinking. It's actually about thinking. That's what the game's about. And they're not doing it. It's hard too, especially online. So we should analyze something like d5 or rook g4. Both of those moves make sense. Good move. Now notice, what are Black's problems ultimately about? It's about the fact that you found the time to bring your knight into the game. Good move. Thank you. Very tasty. Very tasty. And you are up a rook. They trade it all off. Now it should be easy breezy. You love moving the queen. Okay, look. The queen move, you're crushing the guy now, so it doesn't matter. But I just want you to get a sense of the terror that I feel. If you feel this terror, then I think you're going to do well. Bring your people into the game. Bring them in. You could have taken on c6. Thank you very much. Good. Now we're coming in. This is how we win the game. Good. Okay. There we go. They're coming in. Very nice. Well done. Yeah. Okay. So this was the game that brought him to the next cohort. Well done. And I'm going to say what I want to commend you on is I liked the tactical ingenuity you had to save the situation here. But Black was putting a little bit of superficial pressure on you. Boom. You fixed it. And I want you to just, again, I'm going to yell at you. No, no, no. Don't be doing that stuff. It's like, bring the queen out early or something. The knight's screaming at you. The rook's like, bows. What about me, bows? What about me? Okay. Okay. So, let's go back. Yeah, check out Chess Dad's blog. Really cool. He's been on in our announcements section, or achievements, section on the Discord. I also posted some links to, I think it's more than one. I think it's 2 big chess podcasts that dude has been on talking about his journey. So that's really cool. Now we have JSTU. Boom. Oh, that's a very fun graph. 204 points. Activity. We'll go back one. Easy work. 2 hours. The dude made it. I did it in 2 hours. Little tactics here. Done a couple mates. So presumably it's going to get hard for JSTU at some near time, right? No games. Okay. I think I remember that from last graduation too. The JSTU didn't have any games. Okay. So he's got enough talent to get up there without too much work, but soon the work for JSTU is going to happen. Random refugee. The dojo is a good place to get better at chess. What's the song about the refugee, man? There's a song, actually. Now I just got a brain worm in here. And I've always wondered about the lyrics, dude. It's a weird song. It's called Refugee, Tom Petty. And I've never actually read the lyrics deeply. I've listened to the song 1,000 times. And, you know, the refrain is, you don't have to live like a refugee. It's really interesting, man. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean, you don't have to live like a refugee? Oh, man. Okay, I'm getting distracted, buddy. I'm getting distracted. This is Random Refugee. We're going to give him a follow activity. Boom, boom. All right, doing well. Random Refugee. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll look at some games. Oh, we got a bunch. Here we go. So, I'm going to resize this bad boy. The domino variation. It's not as bad as it looks. It is very unprincipled. The Kolmov Gambit. So I have a feeling, Random Refugee, that you have spent too much time studying openings. And this is where we could need some annotations. Like, there's a lot of questions I'm having here. Right, like here it looks like, it's almost like you were so determined to hang the queen e2 tactic that you eventually fell for it. Good move. Here we need a little bit of description, like what's happening here. And here, could white play c3? I think they can, in which case they should, right? Because this is no lo puedo. So that would be a variation we would want to see. There's no rook, no taking. This is poor because maybe you get a little zhuzh on D. Whoa, what is he doing? What is he doing? Okay. Random Refugee. Less openings, a little bit more working on the game here, right? Check the miserable king. Oh my God, what a mess. Man. So, we just look at this time? Chess is a game about thinking, my friend. It is a game about thinking. If you think, you will improve. Your rating will improve. You don't actually have to gain skills. You just have to gain the skill. Like, you don't have to learn some fancy tactics. You don't have to do this or that. You just have to slow down. This guy, Queen D5, look, they're not thinking at all. They're just moving. Yep. Benjamin Bach, thank you for rating. Sorry I didn't immediately say so. I was deep into Tom Petty and the Refugee song. All right, let's go back. Maybe I start losing it after an hour or so here. Okay, next up is Steve Mullet. That's a good name, Steve Mullet. 1153. Steve, you haven't graduated yet, buddy. It's 1200. We need to graduate. 1200. All right, Steve. Get it up there first before you graduate. So, next up, we've got Scott Johnson. Playing the longer time controls has helped me slow down, think things through better, but I still have some struggles missing things. The in-game tasks targeted to my skill level have been very helpful. It is nice to have things in the training program that address all aspects of the game. It would be great for me as a narrative of, somebody trying to help people that just slowing down helps Scott get to the next level. So beautiful. Already ready to graduate again. Look at that, 1404. Okay. So, Scott Johnson, let's say activity. Tell us where you're from, Scott. Tell us a story. So they've done a bunch. You don't have to log the time. It's just a cool feature of the site. Doing a lot of end games. Let's give a click. Nice. And I would guess we're going to see a game here too, several games. Okay, well done. Wait, let's just look at the time graph. So he's playing this online game. Yeah, look at that. I hope we wasted this fool. Look at that. They don't know how to think. It's like they go into Elite Chess or Chess Comp, and they're like, I'm going to play a long game. But they're not. They're essentially playing a 5 or a 10-minute game. And I hope we're winning this one. And I hope that our opponent's even really strong, but we beat him anyway. And so he normally doesn't play this, which is fine. Now he's just going to play chess. Okay, bishop d6 is a little weird because you're blocking the queen. Whoa, uh-oh, my arrows have gone faulty again. You're blocking the queen on d8, and the bishop on d6 is hitting the granite of the g3 square. Does it help if I refresh the page? Let's see here. So I have a theory about what happened actually now. So first of all, let me see if I can make that arrow no. And I have a theory. I think it's when I resize the board, it gets confused. In fact, let's unresize just to test this theory. Oh, it's not letting me unresize. I don't know. I'm not a genius. Okay, d7, snip. Okay, it's a frisky pawn, because now you're going to have to lose some time. Okay, you're gonna say, I want that pawn. Okay, good. Okay. How are you developing your stuff? And your opponent's just moving. That move scares the bejeezles. That scares me, because we are really opening up that D line for the rook. I don't like that move, though. It gives you that nice square. That E5 move on his part looks impulsive, right? And yeah, now we got the beautiful knight. We need to at least talk about the move ED, right? We got to talk about it, because here we gave back a pawn. This is making me nervous. Oh, real nervous. I don't understand Queen E3. Maybe I do. I don't know. No, I don't like it. C4, good move. We got ourselves a really interesting position. Oh my God. This one's a mess, huh? Not sure I understand A6. This is a difficult position, though. It is not clear to me exactly what's happening, but let me just stress, whatever is happening, it needs to involve improving this piece. So the clear way to improve that piece is to put a bishop on B6. Right? Yeah, I think we should play Queen C5 followed by Bishop B6. Be a little careful about the pin on the C pawn, but in general, that's what we should do. If Queen C5 doesn't work, we can play Queen A5, intending what? Bishop B6. We gotta fix the bishop, connect the rooks. So that's really a loss of time. No, it's making me nervous, buddy. Yep. We fixed their pawns, but this happened. Okay, so actually, your opponent just wasn't thinking at all when this whole thing went down. Now, does Bishop G6 actually do anything? As far as I can tell, no. Was F6 probably insane? Oh, yeah, that was probably insane. One move which might collapse your position is F5, with the intention of rolling you like this. Looks scary. Okay, so superficial, good, thank you. And it's not just the exchange, you fixed your bad piece. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good. Okay. Good. Oh, I don't know about that. So, right. Let's see how you did think forever on this move. Okay. Good. So we're gonna. I forgot what I learned earlier. I guess maybe that's that you can't move the bishop. And this is your variation here. Check. Check. And then here, and that's legitimately a little bit scary, but you should be doing great. And this king is a little bit unhappy on g2 because of bishop c6. Now the arrows are working for me. That's good. Jack must be behind the scenes there tweaking it. So bishop e8. Now I'm very frightened. White is winning. All right, so he still isn't thinking, though, this guy. Uh-oh. Well, my friends, e8 is hanging. If he had paused, if he had paused just a little bit, but no, he gained time on that move. Oh, that wasn't good, huh? Check to the miserable king. Oh, my God. Oh. Even in this position, if we play queen d4, we still have some counter chances. It is so unfair and so cruel that we let this chump win because they weren't thinking at all. They were not able to think. Whew. Yeah. So, couple things. It's if your bishop on e7 or bishop were on e7, I'd feel better about dc because now you lose a tempo. But you're still got an interesting game. And I like the fact that you're just developing, keeping things calm. You could have played h6 too instead of bishop e7. Good. I like that you're just, it's complicated, but I'm going to develop. That's potentially insane, but okay. That bad move. Blocking the bishop and giving both of your knights raison d'etre over here. And definitely we should consider ED, right? Is something wrong with ED? I don't see anything wrong with ED. You know, then it frees our bishop too. Okay. So, cool that you guys did a post-game. And right, it seems insane to allow this c5 and then to allow d5. Seems insane. And here, I definitely would consider taking the thing. I don't want to let him play, any d6 stuff on me. Why can't we take? If rook takes, we'll move the queen here, and we'll threaten things like that. And on queen takes, we just move the bishop somewhere. Okay, Scott, I'm happy you're doing the work, and let's just think about this situation from a competitive standpoint. You will win most of these games against these people, right? You will win them. And one thing we can look forward to, too, is at some point, you might play, there you go, USCF. You will just get people who are thinking more there, and it will give you a chance to do a little bit more thinking, too. So I'm looking forward to your next graduation, which I guess you could do it anytime soon here. A lot of people, they don't graduate right away. They want to feel like they've stabilized around a number before they go. Okay. So, we got a different Liam. And Liam says, been inactive for a while, but playing every fortnight, that's English speak, for 2 weeks in local league games. Hoping to get back on here regularly and reach 1,500 ECF. Nice. Okay, ECF is the English Chess Federation. And there it is. And Liam's really Yeah, done well to get 1404. Let's give Liam a follow. And then we'll look how they did it. Yeah, so I think what Liam's saying is he's been a little inactive over here. But let's look at this. I want to see which ones, if it was an OTB game. But let's do this one. And he's playing Cool Master X, who's a big fiend on the dojo. No, he's not a fiend. I don't call anybody a fiend. Okay, this is all kind of aggressive repertoire that I did in the Chessable course, also available on the site. Good move. E5. Yeah, let's talk about why this is poor. So this bishop is in some ways the big dream of the black position because it's unopposed. That means we don't have a white light square bishop. But instead of a light square bishop, we've got these bad boys holding the line on the light squares. Once we play e5, this thing is now a beast. He's a full-fledged potato head, or whatever you want to call him. Further, now it's going to be harder for you to dynamically move Federico the f-pawn. Federico the f-pawn needs to move out of the way of the bishop, move out of the way of the rook. And now after e5, its position's a little stale for Freddy. Right? So more typical move might be queen e1 to queen g3. Now, I don't think I like that knight d5 move, precisely because you could have played knight e4, right? And at least your knight is doing something there. So knight d7 seemed maybe more to the point for me. So queen e1, he takes. Intermezzo? I don't know. I think we should have left it there. And bishop f6 looks plausible, but no, he shouldn't do it. So let's talk about this. Black's got a great position. And one of the things that I've realized recently, just actually had a lesson earlier with Jamil today, and with the Sicilian, a lot of times you'll come out of the opening fantastic, but you'll have the reason you're doing so great here, you being black, is you got really nice long-term positional advantages here. But it's hard to play. That is to say, we're not immediately going to make a bunch of threats and mate white. No, we have to consolidate the position first. The position, I feel, has got to be close to winning. Look at this thing. Oh, man. And this pawn, if it could move backwards, it would go back. Anyways, this doesn't help because now the knight really sits there and is a real jerk. The bishop on e7, I can always play f6. Wait, why aren't we playing bishop e3? Isn't that a free tempo? That's a free tempo. Frisky. Let's play bishop e3, please. No, I don't like that. See, your knight was being a real jerk. He's being a real jerk. Yeah. Okay, so we do this. And now we've conceded that we're significantly worse. He pounds us. We got to do something awkward. Poor. Maybe it's fine. The simpleton move to make would be rook d7. It's hard to imagine white surviving that. It does look scary. Okay, but we have brought some of our people out. We might live. It's not over yet. Rook e3, thank you very much. And black has squandered their advantage in this position. b4, okay. So they're trying to tactically do us in. Now, bishop e5 makes me a little nervous because then I have to evaluate queen e6. Right? I'm worried I'm going to lose a pawn. You do want to deal with this, so bishop g5. Oh, I understand. No, yeah, bishop g5 is what we'd want. He takes. Are they thinking? No, we unfortunately don't have any times here. Passive, they're not thinking at all. Good move. Well, in principle, it's a good move. Okay. Now, this is actually a fascinating position. White has a pass pawn and black does not. So, one thing I kind of sort of understand about positions like this is we're not interested with the queens, queen endgames. We're not interested in the number of pawns as much as we normally are. We're interested in passed pawns. So we would like to push that bad boy all the way down. My sense is, though, we probably want to start with h3. And let's say h6. Then we push. Let's say they go steal our business. This is a really fascinating position. It's very difficult for black to hold this. Very difficult, because I'm faster. You could analyze it out, and maybe there's some better move than h3. But I just wanted to point out that in general, right, what we want here is the passed pawn with the queens. Now, black makes a very consequential decision here and takes. Okay, now let me just say, this is something where black needs to really think about this one. And now it's a big counting game. And this, honestly, I will just say this would take me a while to figure out what exactly is happening. Just optically, I would say white is better because we have the jump in the kinetic energy of the pawns. That just means looking at that pawn on b4, he's closer to making himself a pass pawn than this bad boy. So this would be a great opportunity to do some analysis. I think f5 would definitely be a move to consider so that the black king tries to come faster. Okay. Let me stress, every move here is very intense. It's not the case that we could just, kind of sort of make moves for either side. a4, I would prefer b5. So what's the intention? We create the pass pawn and then whale him. Good. And now I think we just do it. I think you did well here. Let's make sure hopefully this works. I'm not sure this is going to work. I'm not sure this is going to work. Okay, so this is where analysis is really important. Does h4 win the game? The answer is no. Let me show you why. Boom, boom, boom. We got to take, and now it doesn't matter if black loses the pawn. Here, 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 here. And there's no way for the white pawn to get in. Okay, so let's go back. Now, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. We gotta be a little careful here. H6 was not to the point, and we probably needed to play f4. We're the ones who get to decide when we run. Okay, so let's put in h6 first, and let's consider g3. I think black should have played f4. And now we're going to scoop him up. Little Bunny Foo-Foo's coming to town. So that means, this is just doing some analysis here, right, that if black's going to have a chance, it's maybe this move. With the same idea as goes down in the game. So for example, a5. It's really hot. All right, let's do this weird h6 move. Oh, this is super, super spicy. Welcome to the dojo, buddy. Now, it's not over yet, but if they now go h5, then we'll get him. Then we'll get him. Exactly. Okay, so we solved it. And then the way you did it was a little impulsive, because you didn't think about what was going to happen when you went to g6. Namely, dude plays g4. Oh, no. But even king g4 is no longer an easy thing. It's not like we're not winning this. And here, for example, on g3, dude just plays king e3, and it's gone. The game is gone. So yeah, this is already a done deal, because king h5, king here, king takes, and then the easy way is g4. We run. We have fun and we run. So I just want to stress, that's the kind of analysis that you need to do in these positions. And learning endgames, you will learn from doing this kind of analysis. A lot of people think it's all about the algorithms. Now, there were some algorithms actually in there. Let me stress. So for example, with this h3 trick, well, I knew that this is what we call it an algorithm. I knew if we got to this square, and even if they won the pawn, that they wouldn't be able to advance. So, right? So that's like the structural, not structural, that's the position you would kind of need as a backbone of your pawn endgame understanding in this position. And let me stress, when they took on b4, ooh, sometimes people do it, and I'm just like, oh, no, because look, he doesn't have to do it. He can play queen c7 or something. This is insane to take on b4. You'd have to think for a little while before you start taking on b4. Okay. Caps Chess, yeah, you can go back and watch it. I'm sorry. Sorry you missed the graduation, though. All right, so that was Liam, AK, cruising up to 1,400. All right. Next up, we got Michael, who has graduated muchos times. And look at that thing, 532, flying up there. And let's see if we got anything else. We got some activity. We'll go back one. 30 hours of work. Opening. They're doing hectic opening work. Okay. Some tactics. Let's see. Good. All right. Let's look at some games. Interesting. Okay. It's like a it's a kind of French here. Poor. Okay. Poor. D5 is called for. Fine. I prefer knight f3, but okay. Good move. Now, I definitely think you should take with the pawn. Okay. Let's read what you write. After knight c3. I felt it was equal here. I have a lead in development and slightly more space in the center. I feel like black shouldn't have played c5. There isn't any compensation for the pawn, and it severely weakens the d6 square. Okay. I can probably get behind that. There's a little bit more to talk about, but this knight takes e3. I don't think there was a rush to take that thing. First of all, after pawn takes, we win an important tempo, and we solidify this pawn, and we are ready to start attacking our side of the board, the king side, with knight f4 and queen g4, and it's bad news. This one, maybe they will survive. So, c5 is definitely frisky. So DC, they might be able to play this. Knight d7 was the other move. Castles. Okay, so Here he could have put a little pain onto you, okay, and he misses it. You are obsessed with the pawns here, and what you have to do is you need to castle. Because what black could have done here is paralyzed you with taking. Let's say you take it this way, and then bishop a6, and it's a real bummer. It's a major bummer, because your king will never castle, and he's going to open up he's going to play rook b8, f6. Your king is hunted. Yeah. Now maybe Kraai, I should do my opinion a little bit. You could castle, you could castle long, I guess. Maybe I'll change my mind. Sometimes I change my mind. Okay, maybe you will do this. Maybe you're just like, I don't care. I don't care. Now, let me just say, maybe. But still, let's just castle. Let's castle on the king side. Good. That doesn't make any sense to me. And now a3 is a very tricky move. After rook b2, you write, this was a critical point in the game, and I thought I might have a tactic, but I didn't look too deep into it because I thought I would just be 2 pawns down if I moved my knight, but apparently with best play, I win 2 rooks, which is kind of funny. I think rook c1 is okay. Well, let's say the obvious. If you're going to play a3, you have to have an idea against rook takes b2, right? Right? So you write this variation. Holy cacholes, really? Oh, this is very fancy. Maybe this is a little computer inspired too. I mean, he's got so many moves here. He's got rook c4, he's got de4, I don't know. You could also just claim good compensation with knight d6. I don't know. But the point is this. Let me just stress. a3 is a very fancy move, and you don't want to do it unless you have some amazing idea against rook takes b2. Because you don't have to. You could just play rook b1, for example, and you're doing great. You know? Doing great. Okay, so this goes down. That's very strange to take the knight. Think about it this way. The bishop is your good bishop, and I don't want to give him up if I don't have to. And, yeah, why is he giving away this bishop? No comprende. Just move the rook back if you're that afraid. All right, now we got ourselves an interesting opposite color position. There's some moves I don't understand here. Don't get it. Don't get it. There's a lot. Oh, and he lets your rook in. Okay. So let's just say in this phase of the game, your opponent shuffled, didn't know what he's doing. Let your rook downtown. G4, I'd prefer king f2. Okay, good. I don't know what he's doing. Good move. Good. Oof. Oh, buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Now, it should be said that when we commit to f6, we want to really be clear-eyed about whether we're winning or not. It looks very promising, though. So don't say anything, Jesse. And now either rook b7 or bishop e3. I think that's not going to change anything. There you go. Now we get a weakness. Very nice. Let's go take it. Nice. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. There we go. There we go. Chess is an easy game. Look at that. Some people don't believe that chess is an easy game, but look at that. That's definitely an easy game. Okay, Michael. Congratulations on the advancement. And, yeah, I thought you played a pretty good game. Also, the annotation's not bad, right? No, that's interesting. Yeah. And I was even wrong I'm happy to be wrong on these things. I thought castle is definitely more normal, but it's true that after bishop c3, queen c3, bishop a6, castle's long, you're totally in it. Okay, good job. Next up, we got, I don't know how to say it, games combined with study, like podcasts, YouTube. C. DeVille, going up to 16, 17, has already graduated up 511 points. Dang! So, let's take a look. We'll go back one. And they're not logging their time. They have games? No. What are they doing over here? Correspondence chess, media. Okay. So hopefully we'll know more about Sea Devil in the future here. All right. We got two more. Dr. Skull. Oh, man. Let's read it. I love how comprehensive the program is, but I find the most value from the endgame positions. You guys, let me just say, Google the Skull Chess podcast. He's doing some cool stuff. I think me and Kostya were both on that thing. Beautiful podcast. Generally talking about people like himself, people who are improving, making some progress. So really cool to see him make it to the next level. It's hard, dude. We were talking about it a little bit earlier with Wayne Beam. It's hard when you get up here. Okay, so there, dude, he made it. USCF, fantastic. Can we stalk him for a second? But first, we're going to follow him. Let's stalk him just a touch. Go to tournament history. There it is, man. They got up to 1781. I guess this one might not be in there yet. We dropped to 1753. But just broad strokes, dude is going up. He's in the 1600s. Oh, look at that. Look at the, it goes way back. He started in the 1400s here. This is probably, we can go back to his childhood if we wanted to. In any case, seems like we got like roughly 100 points of progress in the last year, which is really good. Okay, so activities. There's this Chess Journeys podcast right there. We will go this. And he's not logging his scores. Let's hope we get a game. We do. Nice. This was paid fairly recently. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Adam Rope. This looks like it's OTB. Fine. Okay. Good move. B4. Now, maybe I've seen this game recently because I remember seeing this B4 move. Yeah, we did look at this game, actually. We looked at this game a little while ago, and I just wanted him to play Queen A6 here. This B4 move doesn't make much sense to me, honestly. Yeah, we've looked at this game, and the point was to say that the better move, Knight C3, we're still playing Queen A6. Or, excuse me, Knight D2 is also a move. But we're still playing Queen A6. Very important. So, B4 doesn't really change the nature of the fact that when we play Queen A6, we're giving White a little bit of grief there. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, I guess we'll leave it because we did look at this recently. And I'm hoping we get more of Dr. Skull in here. Again, I recommend the podcast. And he's talking to all kinds of people. And I think, no, that was a different one. There's so many chess podcasts out there. I'm realizing too, like, our podcast is kind of weird, in that we got these three dudes. We take on like a different topic every time. Whereas Skull, he's got a totally different take. He's like looking at somebody who is improving and is just going to talk about their story. That's it every time. It's great. Very like therapeutic too. All right, Mr. Skull, let's get some more games in here, Bows. Let's get some more games. And I hope that last tournament didn't bring you down a little bit. We need you in there, buddy. All right. So, I think we have one more to go. And that is Silver. And Silver might have just joined the dojo. I say that because They don't have much activity going on here. Well, they had a little bit, Jesse. Take it easy. So, yeah. It's in this cohort that they've done a lot. And then somehow, I don't understand why the cohort's listed as 1,1400 and the other time. All right, let's take a look around. Calculation, okay. Good. That's pretty good. Doing a lot of stuff. Let's just click around a little bit. Evaluate like a GM, great book. I reviewed that on our Endgame channel. Silman Endgame Part 5, yeah. Some openings, right? And some tactics. Okay, a little bit of Polgar mating too. It's chess tactics from scratch. Let's see if we got a game. No game. Darn. Well, Mr. Silver, hopefully we'll see you soon over here at the dojo. So, Skull Stream Magic the Gathering. That's fun. All right, you guys, I'm going to end it there. It's been a great show. Today was actually a little bit of a normal show in that we had 20-some graduates. Last week we had 40. It was really intense. So I'm hoping people got some out of it. I like having the time to go over people's profiles and games with a little bit more leisure and not feel rushed like I was today. All right, so everybody, let me rate somebody.